what is up, everybody, and welcome back to the Ruts podcast. This is a podcast where we interview members of Dayton, Ohio Toyota off-road enthusiasts, and we are working on our OG series right now. These are all the original members that have been with us a very long time, and today I have with me Steve and Jennine Mustard.
How's it going?
And they have been in the group a long time, been attending events for many years now, so probably since around 2018-19, and we started the group in 2018. So tell me a little bit about how you guys got into the group. Do you remember finding DOTORE? How did that look?
I think this is you.
So when I first got the Tundra, we had found a couple other groups online that were not local, and then wound up starting one as a sister group out of Texas. It was Blue Line 4x4. And I believe you joined my group, and then you created your group, and then I joined your group. And then in the law enforcement community, it's just really hard to find people that are willing to put their name out there and get involved in things outside of work. So we kind of let that group die off and just kind of joined yours. And I do the DOTORE side of things a lot more than I do anything else, but I'm also an Ohio ambassador for lady-owned Toyotas for the ladies.
Yeah, nice. And we love to see that too. I think there's been a lot of those members come over to our group as well. So really neat to have that involvement in our group. If you've been out to any of our events, you know that we try to keep everything pretty family oriented and making everyone feel comfortable regardless of your knowledge level of vehicles or off-roading. So, and we're going to get into that a little bit, talking more about DOTORE. But yeah, first off, thank you guys for coming on to the show. Something we do on our podcast here is we enjoy a little bit of bourbon as we go through and talk about some things. I have a pretty decent list of bourbon, and I send it out to the members and they have an opportunity to choose something they like. And the last couple episodes, we have had people on that weren't very into drinking bourbon, and today that has changed a little bit. So we do have some bourbon enthusiasts with us, and they have chosen, Jennine went with the Maker's Mark, and this is the toasted marshmallow. So Maker's Mark has a private selection line. They have a bunch of different staves that they put in to create different profiles. And this one is specifically from Maker's Mark, and you can only get that when you tour their facility. So I picked that up there. And then Steve chose a Penelope Toasted, and that is a cash strength, and that's an OHLQ pick. So these are the first drinks out of both of these bottles. So cheers, guys. Thank you.
Cheers.
And I am also drinking Penelope. It smells really good.
Very tasty.
It is tasty.
Yeah.
It is definitely warm.
Try mine.
Penelope's 112, and Maker's Mark is 109. So both pretty stiff there, and I think I'm going to be a little sweaty on this. It is July, the middle of July, and we're recording here in our office. It's just hot in July, so bear with us. We're going to drink some more bourbon.
We'll survive.
Very hot.
But that is very good. Pretty thick.
Yeah, it's got good legs.
Yep.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about where you guys are from. Are you from Dayton area?
I've been in Ohio, Dayton my whole life.
Okay, cool.
Yep. Grew up in Dayton, Kettering. I graduated from Fairmont.
Okay, nice.
So I've always been here.
Very cool. Jennine, same for you?
Yeah, I was a military brat, so we were stationed at Wright Pat. I grew up in Dayton, graduated from Wayne.
Okay, cool. Yeah. I lived in Huber for a little bit, so I went to pretty much every elementary school we rented. I bounced around, so I went to almost every elementary school in Huber. Still have some really good friends and stuff that I went to school with there, but moved to Centerville and then also ended up graduating from Fairmont. So both have great sports programs, great schools. So since then, you guys have obviously had some kids. Your kids have come out on some events and stuff with us as well. So how did the two of you meet? How did you guys meet?
Actually, we were doing security work. The first time I actually saw Jennine, she was in the office at Hair Arena, And I mean, I'm sure you remember Fair Arena. All you young guys, Fair Arena was this place that had concerts back in the day. But yeah, she was sitting at the desk looking at who was on that night. And I remember going to the hallway, and my buddy Ted, who was working, I was like, "Who's the cute girl at the desk?" He was like, "Oh, that's Jason's girlfriend, Jennine." I was like, "Oh shit," and never thought anything else of it. And then a few months later, we're literally working games down at the Dragon Stadium, and lo and behold, she's across the street working one of the was it
One of the parking room
but was it
areas.
was it the it wasn't one of the private parking lots, was it?
The VIP parking.
Okay, that's what it was. So she's over there, and I'm like, "Oh, check it out." And so I kept, making my way down towards that side of the pavilion so I could kind of peek over and see if she was visible. And then, things happened. She found out she wasn't dating anyone. And then I think she ended up doing a show. Was it Jerry Springer? I forget, but you ended up working with Ted at Memorial Hall.
Yes. I don't remember which show it was.
Yeah, and then he called me up because, "Are you coming over?" I was like, "Why? What's going on?" And it was like a Wednesday night or something. And he was like, "That girl from work's coming over. You should come over." I invited her. I was like, "I'll be there."
Nice.
And, she came over one time, hung out, wasn't sure if it would go anywhere. And then we invited her back to Ted's about, 2 weeks later. And after that, we've been pretty much inseparable. Yeah.
Nice. Very cool. Yeah, you guys have always been together at most of the events that you come to, unless one of you are working, but you guys have been out to a lot of our donut meetups and just the random stuff where we're in parking lots. You made a couple of trips down to Red River Gorge with us, which has been really fun. So when you first got into the truck scene or the off-road scene, were you guys both kind of into that when you met, when you first started dating, or was that something that grew with you guys growing together?
So I've loved trucks my whole life. We never had anything like that growing up. I mean, we did four-wheelers and stuff with family friends, but we never got into any of the lifted trucks, off-road scene, but it's always been something I've enjoyed and liked and was wanting to get more interested in.
Yeah.
So when I found out that he was willing to, and we found a truck we liked, then we started just doing things and took it from there.
Yeah. And then so how long did it take before the Blue Line group started when you got this? So this is a 2014.
This is a 14.
Yeah, and we're saying this is a 2014 Tundra.
Yep.
So we just recorded the rig walk around on this, and also on Steve's walk around on his Sequoia. So check out both of those. But
Yep. So I think I got it in 16. So it was probably maybe 4 months, because as soon as I got it, within a month or so, there was tires and a lift kit and just the basics
yeah.
put on it. But I think it was probably by Christmas time or by the first of the year that Blue Line had started. And then shortly thereafter, we met up and had our really cold meet down at Eastwood.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And Steve is always complaining about the cold. You guys will learn that if you come out. They will not come out to the really cold events. Steve is like, "Oh, I'm so in the car. I'm doing this." But yeah, it always, and now today it's super hot. So I hope you're happy, Steve.
I'm fine.
But yeah, it's fun to kind of do that kind of stuff. And I remember those first events, it was like 3 or 4 people. I mean, it was literally me, you guys, and maybe like 2 other vehicles. I'll try to drop some photos in there of those early meets, but I think we...
I remember going to the Air Force Base, and there was literally like 4 of us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A guy I went to high school with, Michael Huey. I think he still has his Tacoma, also in the group. He came out to one of those, and then what was the other vehicle that was there? Was it Andy, maybe? Did Andy come to that first one?
I'd have to go back and look.
So.
Yeah, because I know a lot of the photos was literally... I think we met at the park, took some photos by the water or something, and then we left from there and went to the Air Force Museum.
Yeah.
So I remember 3 of us in the main photos from the Air Force Museum.
Yeah, and that was a blue Tacoma
Yep.
as well.
And then
that was Michael Huey.
than us.
And I think before we went there might have been one or two other people at that meet. But I'll see if I can find them. Yeah, that was back before we even know what I knew what to do with off-roading at all. So, what was your guys' experience like at that time? Did you have any time off-road? Now you said you had done like four-wheelers and stuff a little bit, but
So I had done some, but as a passenger when I was younger. I had family lived down in West Virginia, and so they had access to stuff like that. And, you know, there was all guys with like the old Chevy K5s, stuff like that. And I had some buddies in high school who had some old Toyotas that they had, you know, hand-me-downs from their parents. But a lot of those were just, you know, they were being stupid going through people's cornfields. You know, that's, that was the off-roading they were getting into because we're in Dayton and Kettering, you know what I mean? But as far as like the group activities that we've done, nothing like that.
So this is your first Toyota then? The first Toyota you guys had?
Nope.
Or you had one before that?
When we first met, we've been together 22 years almost.
Yeah, almost.
I had a Tacoma, an 01 Tacoma, which it was a daily. We used it for, just having fun, but we didn't get to go out on the trails. So.
Okay, cool. And then it just transitioned to wanting a bigger truck, basically. So, yeah, that's how it usually works. I swear I'm going to leave it stock. I just spent $500.
No.
And then Steve, what did you have Blazers and stuff before that?
So no, my interest in vehicles was always in drag racing.
Okay, yeah.
The only thing I saw a truck really for was towing a car to the track and back. So she's the one that kind of drug me into the truck scene. When she started talking about it, I was like, I'm all in. Let's go have fun. Because, I mean, to me, doing the off-roading was just an extension of camping in a way. It's like, well, we're already going to the woods to go hike around. Why not drive through instead?
Yeah. Instead of having to walk all
instead of walking up and down, we can drive. This is way more fun.
No, that's awesome. And you're a big Mustang guy.
Yes.
I don't know if you want to talk a little bit about that. And
it's my first car was an '84 Z28, and it was the biggest pile. I hated that car. It's every time I turn around, I was fixing something, and I mean it looked great. Those are I was born in '75, so those '84 Camaros into the IROCs, that's a timeless look to me, you know what I mean? And so when I got that car, I loved it, but it was just not a good one. And I had a friend, Roy, who worked on base with me at the time, and he had an '87 Mustang, and he took me for a ride down National. We were running up to Hardee's, and riding that car one time hooked me. I was like, I am getting one of these right now. I sold that car, and within 6 months I had my black car, which I owned that car for a little over 18 years, and drove it all over different tracks, raced it, several different organizations. And
so I think we were just talking about this at your birthday party, actually.
Oh, yep.
You had what, like 4 Mustangs? Is that right?
4 or 5, yeah.
Okay. So if you got Mustang questions, he's probably the guy to go to for
know a little bit.
But no, so that's cool. So first time you guys off-roaded, when was that? Was that with our group, or is that on like a vacation or something? Because I know you guys bounce around. You do a lot of like traveling and going like on small vacations and stuff. I enjoy seeing all the photos from that and seeing the small restaurants or cool places that you guys visit, because I'm like instantly adding them to my list. Like if I'm ever in that area, I'm finding something cool, So when was like your first actual off-road experience, like with the Tundra, I guess?
So I actually don't remember if it was a Daniel Boone trip or if it was Haspen, but I had scheduled a meet for the girls to do like a recovery day out at Haspen, and it wound up being DOTORE people. And so we took it, spent the day out there, and just had fun going through the clay.
Yeah.
I'm sure anybody's been to Haspen knows it's a mess out there, but
we've talked about that a little bit on the show.
Lost and exhaust, but
it takes you a long time to clean off your vehicle afterwards too. That's the big stuff underneath on the frame. You never get it all off.
No.
Every time you go to the car wash from now on, you'll have a little bit of that dripping out. So
that's the dirtiest it's been and the deepest it's been.
Yeah. So, Steve, did you go on that trip too then?
Yeah, I went to the Aspen. I think our first trip was the first group outing at Daniel Boone, though.
The fall ride.
Okay.
And then we
Yeah,
kind of did it's what we call the easy ride now.
Yeah.
And I believe Jeff led that route group.
Yeah. Well, we probably did like spas and stuff, I think. Was probably the most extended part
Maybe.
we did. Because you guys went on that trail, the night ride that we did that
We
one
did.
time too.
Yeah, that was the Friday night ride.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That was an experience.
that was fun.
That was an experience.
She still had regular steps.
Oh, yeah.
And one of the
That's a
steps bent up almost to the point if it had been any higher, that back door wouldn't have opened.
Yeah. We were naive back then, to say the least. I think we got into some stuff that we didn't really know what we were doing. But we don't do that so much anymore. We scout trails a little better. There's a lot better map systems. So you should come out and join us on the trails anyways. But no, seriously, it's memories like that you create through this process that was fun, right? You were terrified at the time.
It was a lot of fun.
But after you were like, that was so cool.
Yeah, it was a blast. And I mean, honestly, like one of the most fun times I've had wasn't even driving. We hitched a ride with Akshay in his FJ.
Oh, okay.
And because we were worried because I forget what trail that you guys were going to go on, but it was like the later day, Saturday. And they were going to go somewhere, and he was, he's fearless. He didn't care. He just still had stock tires. And he was like, ride with me.
I think he still has stock tires.
He may have.
Below what size tire you're running now.
But we hopped in there and followed, went through, and one point we're literally like on the door frame sideways, and that was when Mitch, slammed his truck,
okay.
and Mark had to pull him out.
Yeah, he got stuck. There's
and
a
then-
video of that
Yes.
on our YouTube page, so go find that. That's from one of our early DBB rides.
That's the incident he'll never live down.
Yeah, absolutely. I think on my personal page, I think I titled that video Raptor Gets Pulled Out by Axis Cab Tour. So you can check that out on there too. But no, Mitch, we love you. We're just teasing.
Yeah.
Mitch has been a fun part of the group as well.
Yeah, he's a great guy.
Yeah, and the Raptor is super cool. So it doesn't matter who you are, that thing fires up. You're like,
It sounds great.
so, but yeah, and then obviously we don't just do the off-roading portion of all that. There's a lot of other things we do. I talked a little bit about like donut meetups and parking lots, and we do some kayaking trips and things like that too. But what other kind of stuff would you guys like to do with the group? Are there other things that you think we should do? Because we're always looking to obviously expand this and give members that opportunity to come out and have fun. Obviously 2 years ago we added the truck or treat thing, so we do that in the fall now. What do you guys think? Like, what do you want to see DOTORE grow into?
Well, it's been nice doing the charity drives. I know that there was one for, I think, the first round of floods that came through down south. And then I know we did one and took a trip down. Marianne, Steve, and I went down with Mark's trailer and dropped a bunch of supplies off round 2.
Yeah.
And we've had some other drives, I think, that we've done for
Yeah, we collected
School
a lot
supplies
of stuff
and-
local here. Took some stuff to the food bank, to the animal shelter. And then you guys did a coat drive, I believe it was.
Yes,
You
for our buddy
collected
Mark.
that.
Yeah.
Yep.
So yeah, I enjoy doing that kind of stuff. I think we should try to do that again this year. I think it's actually on the schedule. I think I need to actually create the event. But yeah, if you know good resources on like who collects that kind of stuff, that was, I think, the hardest thing I had a problem with before. A lot of those bins that you can fill with food, I'm like, I don't want to do that and then somebody steals it or something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Because there are unfortunately people out there that take advantage of that. We want to be able to get it to the community and people that are actually in need of that. So, but yeah, I'm absolutely open to doing more things like that, whether it's toy drives for, Christmas or, the holidays, or if it's just doing food drives for, Thanksgiving, Easter, that kind of stuff too.
Right.
So, I get a pretty good joy out of that because I've had a couple of house fires and stuff as a kid, so we lost quite a bit, and that in turn we relied a lot on the community to give us things back or provide housing during that time. So absolutely anything that we can do to be part of that. That's kind of one of the nice things too about the Kentucky Toyota Land Cruiser Association. They do a lot of rides that help maintain those trails, and they have rides that are dedicated to like suicide prevention and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But I think that's something that really can set the off-road community apart from some regular extracurricular activities. You know what I mean? Like
for sure,
really bonds together to make things like that happen. And I think that's really cool.
I think that says a lot too, just about the members that this group has.
Yeah.
Because I mean, you get on some of these other Facebook groups and instantly tell the difference because of the comments that get made on some of the posts that are really just unnecessary.
Yeah.
But you get into our groups, you don't see that.
Yeah.
Everybody there is really like, if there's something you're asking, they'll point you in the direction of either a vendor that can help you or people within our group that have answers to questions.
Yeah.
Whether they're there to support their own business or not, they're knowledgeable people. And
right.
most of the people, if you got questions, like Andy, for sure, he'll definitely tell you what he thinks. He's not going to like try to charge you for his knowledge.
Right.
Yeah,
that's definitely something that I really take pride to with our group because I don't know everything about it. You know what I mean? I started this group to help people and become a resource. Everybody pull resources together. We've got a lot of great community people, like you were talking about, Andy Ross and Blake and Mitch, even Kevin, and all these people that help out in the community, the Cabasses and Jeremy, all these people. I would have never met without the group. You know what I mean? And these are people that give you real world advice. They're not a salesman. They're not somebody there to try to sway you. They're actually like, hey, this is what you should do because you don't want this to happen. You know what I'm saying? So it's good to have that,
Well, a lot of times too, they've learned the lesson the hard way.
Yeah.
They paid the stupid tax.
Yeah.
So like, don't do what I did.
I know, at least for me, like I grew up around cars. I took automotive in high school, but I didn't become a mechanic, you know what I mean? So I don't have all that knowledge. I may know how to do certain things, but I may not have the right tool or I may not have the right equipment to do it. But having a Wikipedia right here within DOTORE is pretty nice, being able to reach out to specific people and say, hey, I'm experiencing this. I Googled this and I tried it and it didn't work. Is there something else? And I think it's really cool because a lot of times you find your answer, you know what I'm saying? They lead you towards something that you didn't know before and then you've solved your problem, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
so
for sure.
It's really cool to have those people involved in the group and really be genuine, good people and good resources. So that's something that I like to grow on, this group, I think right now, we're around 1,600 members, somewhere in there. There's a lot of people that I think hide in the shadows a little bit that may be super talented at something. So don't be afraid to showcase those talents, you know what I mean? The first of every month, we have a vendor day and you can self-promote. You can self-promote your business. You can self-promote your YouTube channel. You can self-promote whatever it is you want. But that's a good way to kind of get your name out there a little bit into the community and, also be the resource for what somebody needs if they need customized fender liners or something like mammoth guards, you know what I mean? That is something that I would like to see more of. I would like to see more people be involved with the group and not be afraid to come out to the events. And I think that's what this podcast is kind of all about. Talking to our members, getting to know you guys a little bit better to make you guys feel more comfortable to come out and join these events. Like I said before, these are all pretty family friendly. I mean, you guys have kids, you've brought your kids out to most of the events, and a lot of other people do too. Animal friendly, you know what I'm saying? So we've had a lot of great times at the camp. I can imagine you guys would agree with that. I think it's always been really cool to see all the kids off playing together and having fun.
Watch them grow up.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
it's a good experience not only for us but also for them. You're getting them outside. They're creating those memories, and a lot of my childhood. I remember going camping and stuff, and we definitely didn't like stay at hotels and motels and all that stuff when we camped. We were literally out in the woods, like camping. You know what I'm saying? So. And those are memories that I remember, like burning sticks and doing stuff like with my dad, and that I think is super cool, and just getting you out in front of the screen, that today. And obviously, you guys are all in front of a screen right now, and we rely on that. But
go outside after you watch this.
Yeah. But obviously, just expanding on that a little bit and coming out and joining us for some of the fun stuff. What is your guys' favorite DOTORE memory? What is your favorite thing that we've done as a group?
Personally, I love the rides, and I've made so many friends with some of the other people in the group. So I know you've made several as well, but just the laughing and just the stories and having fun that you get. I know that Marianne has been with us on camping trips. We've gone on our own trips, and there's so many memories and so much fun just to hang around and talk. And
is there a specific ride that you remember, a specific moment that you remember that you're like, that's what did it for me, that's my favorite thing?
Not particular for me. I know that one of my favorite stories is when I was riding with her and she had a tool bag shift and hit a rubber chicken, and we couldn't stop laughing long enough to see the trail. But
sure.
Well, that was down in Tennessee.
Yeah, at Windrock.
Yeah.
That's pretty funny. Windrock's a good time. That is a fun trip, and as we're filming right now, not as this is being posted, but as it's being filmed, we are like 1 week out from Windrock, actually a little bit less, and I might get a little teary-eyed here because I really wish I could go, but I can't. So I'm missing out on a good ride, but our trail team is going to take care of you guys if you're watching. It's going to be a great time. Are you guys going to Windrock?
We can't make this one
this year, unfortunately.
But we're only a couple of months away from our fall ride too. So registration's about to be going up for that. So keep an eye in the events section. Get registered for that. You get a t-shirt, or you have the option to get a t-shirt. You get stickers, all that fun stuff. But you also get a day of fun trails. So I think we're going to try some new parts in Red River Gorge this year. And we do that for a wide variety of different difficulties. So whether you're somewhat stock or if you're highly modified, there's something that we can do with you. I think you guys can agree that we've had a lot of different variety of vehicles out on the trail.
Oh, yeah.
Things that have been relatively stock. Even the first ride you guys did when we did that night ride that we were talking about, this thing looked a lot different then than it does now. So I think it's really cool that you learn throughout those experiences, and you're like, that looks really pretty on there, but now I think I need something different. You know what I mean? Because I started with like a bull bar and stuff on the bumper, and I think I hit one rock and that thing bit, and I was like, okay, well, I definitely need something a little more heavy duty than that. So it's cool to learn as you go throughout all these experiences, and it's really neat. But what would you say your number one addition to the truck has been? Like, if you were going to say, this is my favorite upgrade, what would you say it is for the Tundra?
My bumpers.
The bumpers?
Yeah.
Yeah. And why do you think? Because armor? Is that why you say that? You feel a little safer when you're approaching? And
I like the way it makes it look on the trails, especially the armor. But obviously it allowed me to put a winch in. I started with a bull bar.
Yeah.
Not much protection there. Yeah. But it saved it a couple months back. I think it probably would have been totaled had it not had steel bumpers on it. So.
You get hit?
It was actually parked in front of my house, and my neighbor wasn't driving the safest and plowed right in the back of it.
Oh, man.
Hit it hard enough to total his van out and bend my steel bumper.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's your neighbor, so you got to see him all the time. That's rough.
Yeah, his van looked like an accordion.
Oh, my goodness.
It was bad.
Minivan, conversion van?
Minivan.
Oh, jeez. That's crap right there. So, Steve, what about for you? What would you say your favorite add-on for the Sequoia is? Or your favorite addition to the Sequoia, I guess?
It's probably that front bumper that Andy built for me. And I mean, it was a pain in the ass for him, pardon. But, because, when he initially was going to do that, and that was for the '02 Sequoia. So initially when he did that, he thought he could just use the Tundra bumper and modify it. And then when he got going, he realized it was going to be an entirely different platform. So it became a nightmare. But just the way it looks on there, it just sets that truck apart so much.
Yeah. And you guys have a lot of RFO parts from Andy Ross. You supported him quite a bit. Andy does a great job in the group. If you have any, custom parts you need made, he's really great at fabrication. You've also used Michael too, right?
Mm-hmm.
Barks Built.
Yep.
Is that how you say that? Am I saying that right? It's Bar Built, maybe? It might be Bar Built.
Something like that.
Michael has been a great addition to the group as well.
Super nice guy as well.
Some really cool stuff, and they have both.
They're both very talented.
Yeah, donated a lot of stuff for our giveaways, which we're very thankful for. I think doing things like that in the group, when we hit these milestones of this many members, or we've done something this cool.
Yeah, those are always fun to do.
Doing a raffle at an event.
Although I never win, but
it pushes people a little bit, or helps people get into some of those additions that maybe they didn't want, or they didn't have the money to do, or something. So winning something as simple as a car wash bucket to being like an awning, or an air compressor or something like that is pretty neat. So we try to do a lot of fun stuff for the group and to kind of keep you guys involved. But yeah, and outside of Toyota stuff, did you guys camp a lot before you got into the group?
Mm-hmm.
So you've been around camping gear for a long time, safe to say.
Yeah.
So with the addition of technology and some, faster things, like tents are a lot easier to set up now,
Oh, yeah.
What would you say your favorite piece of gear is? Something that may not be necessarily related to the Tundra, but something that you use pretty frequently when you're outdoors.
Well, we definitely use our Easy Up the most.
Yeah.
We have an Ozark Trail that has the built-in LEDs, and it's pretty tall. It's got the air vent in the top, and it's larger than all the other ones that get brought to sporting events and everything else.
Yeah.
And it's probably our most frequently used.
Yeah, I'd say you're probably right.
And then we have a pretty neat tent that's got the poles that are built in that we slide up now.
Yeah, shade is pretty priceless.
Yeah.
On days like today, especially. Yeah. Steve, what would you choose something different? What would you say?
As far as our gear that we use, if it's not the Easy Up, it's our tent. Because we used to have one where you had to snake the poles through, but now we got one you literally just lift it up and then the bars just click. And I mean, you could have that thing set up in 5 minutes. Yeah. And if need be, you could do it by yourself. It's that easy.
We just got one of those, actually. We haven't used it yet, but I say just got it, but I think it's been like over a year. But our in-laws had it, and my brother-in-law and his wife and the rest of my wife's family and I went to Indiana for the eclipse, and they had this tent that just they pulled up and it set up pretty easy, and my wife was like, that's super cool, that seemed really easy. And Whitney doesn't come on a lot of the camping trips with me, and she would hate it because I have all the holes that you have to snake through that you were talking about. But she had a Christmas gift that she ended up having her brother return, and they ended up buying that instead. So we now have one of those easy pop-up tents that have the thing in it, but we haven't used it yet. So, I think for me, it might be my Blackstone, to be honest. I love that thing, man. It's it makes cooking so easy. Anything could be on there. Now, if it's hiking or backpacking or something, I would have to choose something different, but definitely don't want to lug the Blackstone or something. But for actual campsite camping, I think that is probably my favorite thing. So, but they didn't, when you guys were early camping, they didn't have a griddle that you took, right?
No.
It was you had the Coleman grills, right? Probably.
So we actually have a 3-in-1 kitchen. So it's got the toaster oven, the coffee pot, and the griddle on top that we take. So we're going to upgrade your Blackstone at some point, but right now that's what we do. That's what we've got.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. So What is your? We've talked a little bit about your favorite DOTORE experiences, kind of how you got into the group. What would you say that your favorite vacation or favorite place that you guys have been is?
Florida.
Yeah, it's probably been it would be,
New Smyrna, Florida is probably our favorite location.
yeah, so far.
It's not as touristy, which the kids love the touristy part of Myrtle Beach.
Yeah.
But for us, more relaxed. It's still coastal. It's beautiful down there. There's national parks and different state forests you can go through. It's right there just north of the Canaveral Seashore.
Okay.
So you can hit some of the national parks down there. Kennedy Space Center is about an hour 20 south. So you can see the rockets launch and stuff like that. But it's just since it's not real populated as far as tourists go, it feels way more laid back. And
Their boardwalk area is kind of like Yellow Springish
yeah.
feel,
Yeah.
but a lot of cool little like bars and burger places. And you still have your, touristy t-shirt shops, but they're not the ones with the giant sharks,
Yeah.
like you see in
Yeah.
like in Orlando, places like that.
For sure.
They're definitely more low key and it's just a very relaxed area. And
So would you say you guys are more beach people than like mountain people or something like
It's tough.
that? Yeah. So if you were going to retire somewhere
The beach.
and it wasn't here, it would be the beach?
Yeah.
yeah, for
With
sure.
vacations to the mountains.
There's something about the ocean, that it just feels like it recharges me. That's
The ocean's
best.
terrifying.
Well,
How I feel.
I'm not a big fan of being out in it,
Yeah.
but just being around it, the sound, it's just something about it. It's just very relaxing. It's
Constant breeze. It's warm.
My wife and her family, they did a lot of Florida vacations as they were kids. So they went to the Keys a lot, fished. So as I started dating her, I started going to Florida, deep sea fishing, and I love to fish. I do enjoy fishing. I'm terrible at it, but I do like to fish. But there's something about being out on the ocean. And at first you're kind of like, this is so fun. You jump into the water and then you think about it a little bit. You're like, man, I've seen some crazy stuff. And now with the addition of AI, I don't know how much you guys look at reels and all that stuff, but there's stuff that pops up on you. What the crap? And then it says made with AI. And you're like, oh,
Yeah.
But it's like, I know that's not in there, but when they produce it in front of you, you're like, is that real? All of a sudden, like,
it's
you've never seen an octopus that large, or
Yeah, I had a family for years that lived down in Pensacola, Clearwater area. So going down there into the Gulf, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
And if you do see sharks, you can see them.
You can get pretty quick on the Gulf side. So we rent a boat a lot of times when we go down there to
Yeah.
fish. The Gulf side is always so calm. Like, you
Yes.
can get scooting across there where, there's a little rocky.
It's a little
You get all
choppy.
those white caps and, you're hitting those waves and like smashing down. But, so do you guys want to talk a little bit about like what you do outside of DOTORE? Like, do you have other hobbies that aren't vehicle related? What do you guys do for work? I mean, do you want to talk about anything like that?
Yeah.
I mean, work-wise, I've been in the vending industry for
19 years.
Yeah, something like that. I always tell people keep people fat and happy.
The Candyman.
Candyman, yeah. It's those people, they gotta have their Mountain Dew in the morning or the energy drinks, so do I love it? Absolutely not. I've been looking for something else for a while. But, it's easy enough and it's reliable.
Yeah.
Um,
I can really respect that though. So my mother-in-law has been in the hospital for the last couple months, continuation of things. But hoping that gets better. But I've spent a lot of time in waiting rooms and relying on convention or the convenience of all that stuff. So whether it's the little coffee machines or an actual vending machine, but they've got Grippos. I don't know. Do you do that?
Yes.
Grippos is like, every time I approach a vending machine, I'm like, yes, that's what I'm getting. It's like, funny story about that too, real fast. So we were at this birthday party, essentially, at the Wright Brothers Airport. My brother-in-law flies Cessnas and stuff. So they were taking up their cousin's husband for the first time flying, just in a plane. He had never been in a plane before, so he was just going to fly him around. And my other brother-in-law got Grippos out of the vending machine, and he's eating Grippos, and he's tapping the bag, and he gets the seasoning in his eyeball. Okay, so and I've also done that, so I realized how painful that was. As I'm watching him go through this, I'm like, that is absolutely awful. But Grippos are one of those things, super good. Like, and then you get about halfway through the pack, and your mouth's like on fire. I don't know about how you guys do with heat, but for me, I'm like, man, these are way hotter than they used to be. I don't know if they've actually gotten hotter or if I've just gotten weaker. So I don't know.
You know, I don't think they're all created equal.
Yeah.
Because I'll grab a bag every once in a while at work, and sometimes I'll eat the whole thing and not even faze me. And then sometimes you'll bite into one, you're like, good Lord.
Yeah.
But
the other thing I think that gets me is those little cookies, the famous Amos, man. Those things at a vending machine too, you're like, yeah. And you can share. You know?
The chocolate chip minis.
You're like, I don't want to share that. But yeah, some chocolate chip famous Amos cookies. But, and then Jennine, what do you do?
I'm a 911 dispatcher. I have been doing that for, well, where I'm currently at, about 12 years. I started at Montgomery County, and I was a corrections officer in their jail. They went to their dispatch center before leaving, and I became an EMT for a little while, ran private, and then got back into dispatching.
Yeah, so you see a much different side of things than Steve.
I do. No vending machines at my place.
You've got some very crazy stories, and we don't need to get into all that, but so this is probably a good balance of doing that because you see a lot of negative things. Can't imagine you see too many positive things that come through the line, but you know, being able to get away from all that out in the woods, off-roading to the beach,
Yep.
you know, things like that, I feel like are probably a pretty good balance for you. So having something cool to take you there is really awesome. What do you have planned for Brutus here? Do you have any other upgrades that you want to do? Do you think you're going to leave it as it is? Like, what do you see the future looking like for Brutus?
For right now, probably set as is, just simply because that's why we got the Sequoia, was to do more of a trail rig.
Yeah.
So that this is my daily, and I like to drive it. So I don't want to, you know, get out there and break something and be down for a while. Whereas yours being built, we can do the upgraded parts more on one vehicle and focus on that and build exactly how we want it, and then eventually come back to this if need be.
Yeah, sure. That's kind of where I'm getting at with the Tundra. And these things are just big out on the trails.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, how many times have we gone down the trail and you're like, eh.
And that's
Right?
that's kept it off some. That's why we've ridden with other people, because I don't want
And
to.
it's hard to, like, because otherwise you don't experience it. Like, you have to go through some of those spots to get to the really cool stuff. And it's like, so I'm also trying to build something different that I care less about. You know what I mean? So, so Steve, what about for the Sequoia then? It's pretty it's built pretty well now, but what else do you plan on doing to it?
I'm definitely going to be doing a rear bumper with a tire carrier because now the spare is in the back hatch area. Doing full armor underneath, and then just some clearancing on the front so the 35s don't rub as much.
Yeah.
But,
yeah, I guess if you clear out that platform.
Storage rack.
yeah, but that's the other thing too is doing a box, one of the
Sleeping platform kind of thing?
well, kind of, but so with the rooftop tent, I don't need it for the sleeping area, but I want to do the box so I have some storage. Plus, I will end up eventually. I'm going to get one of the fridges because the Sequoia already has the power in the back ready to go.
Yeah, nice.
So all I got to do is plug it in and rock and roll.
Yeah, that's one of the things that I'm looking forward to about the Forerunner and stuff is being able to have that inside space. Right now in the Tundra, I don't have as much of that. The tent is nice, but it is also a pain in the butt sometimes when it's wet and things like that, or if it's really windy, setting that up, you're worried about, shocks or things getting cracked or whatever it might be. But I think with like your situation with the Sequoia, even having the option to just climb in the back.
Yeah.
I mean, so your fridge may take up a little bit of space, but you got enough room for a couple air mattresses or something.
Yeah. Well, the last trip I did, it was actually the shakedown run that I went down the first time with that. That's what I did. I just slept in the back.
Yeah.
And I was stupid. I didn't take an air mattress. And I woke up with the worst pain in my back ever.
Yeah. Well, that's a learning experience.
It was a learning
And it was probably super easy, though, right?
It was.
I did that, went to sleep. Like,
Yep.
After a long day on the trails, like, people, a lot of times you don't realize what that does to your body. You know, after like 8 hours on a trail, you're like, all your vertebrae are like compressed. You're like, I need to like stretch out, lay down. You don't have to set up a tent. You don't have to do all that.
Yeah.
Crawling in the back is definitely really nice. Now, would I do it different if I built my Tundra again? I don't think so. I really like the tent. I like the way it looks. I do like having that option of climbing up there. It's like the penthouse. You know what I'm saying? You get an even better view. So, but sometimes it is just a little bit of a hassle. So,
I know the one thing I've considered doing is doing one of like the tow behind trailers and taking the tent off and putting it on a trailer.
Yeah.
And I think something like that where you could, drop camp, set it up, and just leave it.
Right.
I think there's some benefit to that.
Absolutely.
Not only that, the Sequoia is not exactly a short vehicle.
Yeah. That's
So
true.
it gets real top heavy too. So
I think that you're right with the trailer thing because you can occupy a campsite and kind of claim that where, like for me, my camp is attached to my truck. So if I leave, I have to leave things unattended at not technically a campsite if there's a pit or anything, you know what I mean? So
well, not only that, you don't have to tear your tent down every time you want to drive down the road to the gas station or whatever.
Just to get dinner.
Yeah.
So absolutely. Well, DOTORE, something I think that we've experienced through the growth of all this is we've really built this community. I mean, you guys obviously have been here for a long time. You've watched the full evolution of everything that has occurred and the growth of where we are now. Where would you like to see DOTORE in like 5 years? Like, what would you like to see this grow into? We talked a little bit about every year we do different types of events. We've added on some things. We do these podcasts and mini series and stuff now. What is something that you guys would like to see, like as a 5-year plan, if you will? Like, what would you like to see this grow into?
I think the rides are one of the biggest things that the group enjoys together. I wouldn't mind maybe like a drive-in movie night, or maybe we could do some holiday parties.
Yeah.
I know we're members of a pool. If we rent it out, it's an early morning, so it's really weird hours. But even just getting together, and I know there's a pool down in Moraine we could all rent out and do maybe like a DOTORE day at the pool, and there's some different activities
like
that
Summer bash.
Hey,
I've had a few people bring that up in the past, actually, doing some kind of like summer bash or like a potluck kind of situation. So maybe we should have DOTORE Summer Jam. Yeah. Sounds pretty cool. So
well, no, like Mitch usually does his party where he invites quite a few of the members out. There's that, and then with the trunk or treat. I know the Kings always offer the property up if you want to stay in camp. So
and we haven't had a ton of kids. That has grown a little bit, but if you've got kids and want to come out, we always have a ton of extra candy, and I'm going to be honest, I buy the good stuff. I buy Reese's, I buy Nerds Rope and gummy clusters and things like that. So maybe that's why they're not bringing their kids, because I'm sugaring them up and sending them home. But this year we're going to have mini monsters for the kids. I'm just kidding. We're not doing that. But,
Red Bulls.
No, seriously, I think those are the really cool events. Not everybody has joined the group because they like off-roading. A lot of them are like, hey, I bought this Toyota and I want to do this to it. I need to find somebody that I can talk to about that. But having those small events, we're just like everyone else. You know what I mean? We're just people. So
we got a pretty eclectic group overall.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if I brought it up at my birthday party or not, but having range day, because there's a lot of us that are about the pew-pews.
I would agree.
And I think that could be a lot of fun.
Yeah, especially if we go somewhere where we can like rent out a range, where it's more like you could do drills and stuff, not just like actual target shooting. I think that would be really fun to get into, or maybe have two separate ones and
Yeah.
have like an actual range day, and then have like more of the competition style drill run range days. But yeah, that would be super fun. So one last question here: is there a hobby that you wish you had that you don't have? And it's got to be separate. You guys can't answer the same thing. So I like this question because obviously we've got a ton of different people in the group and a wide variety of things that they also do in the group. So if there's something that you wish you could do that you haven't, there's probably someone there to support it. So we've talked a little bit about guns. I know we've got a lot of people that are into that kind of stuff in the group. So resources for places to go, resources for things to buy if it's your first time, all of that kind of stuff. But what is something that you're interested in that you've never done because of whatever?
So one of the things that I always talk to him about is if I ever got out of my job would be like starting a kennel. And I've talked about the rescue side of things, but in reality, there's so much work that goes into that I don't know that I would be able to keep up with it.
Yeah.
But like even offering dog training and boarding and stuff like that, the dog training side of things and knowing how to do that and how to train for sport, I think would be really fun to do.
Yeah, that'd be cool. There's a lot of pride you can take into that too, because I've had a lot of pets over the years, and some of them are just naturally pretty good. Others are like, they need that help. You know what I'm saying? It's like, you're a little crazy. You need to calm down some. So, no, that's super cool. And I know there are a lot of pet people in the group, but I don't know that there's specifically anybody that does like training. So if you're a dog trainer and watching this, or a pet trainer in general, if you can make my goldfish jump through a loop, I don't have a goldfish, but I'm willing to buy one if you can make it jump through a loop. Turtles, anything, comment below. Steve, how about you, man?
Probably getting into being like a luthier. I've played bass since I was about 13 and off and on. And I just think the idea of being able to like take an instrument apart, recondition the neck and the frets and doing all that type of work. I mean, the electronics, it is what it is, but you see guys that take these old guitars and restore them.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's just, there's nothing like an old 60s Fender, and seeing one of those cleaned up.
Yeah.
They're just.
We do got some like music people in the group too, actually.
Yeah.
Do you play music?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've played in a few bands.
Okay.
Back in the day, and
See, we didn't even talk about that. You got to tell us a little bit.
hey,
real fast.
it was all trucks.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've played in a few, like, I graduated in '94, so that was in the height of grunge.
Yeah.
And most of the stuff I was into back then was like heavy metal. But I had a good friend for years, and we used to go down to the Oregon District, Trolley Stop, and do like their acoustic nights,
Yeah.
play out like that, and it was a lot of fun.
My buddies had a band throughout high school and a little bit after high school, and I was a roadie, so I carried a lot of their equipment, and who knew that I would now be filming in the warehouse for a company where I would do AV stuff. So,
Yeah.
I never would have thought, but yeah, it's pretty cool to think that. So I had no idea that you played music. So I guess you got to bring some instruments next time you got a campfire and play some grunge music.
There you go.
You're down.
Fire up the old Nirvana tunes.
Yeah, I mean, everything is coming back. If you look at the
It really has.
everything now, everything's translating back to that. So maybe we'll get a rise in punk again. We'll see.
Maybe.
Grunge and punk. So what is on your radio? If it's Nostalgia Day, like out of that era, what would you be listening to?
Oh man, I'll tell you what. So for me, like, I was a big like progressive metal fan. I didn't fall into the grunge as hard as like some of my friends did, because I was always into bands like Queensryche and Rush, Fate's Warning, Dream Theater. So I was always into the more like crazy guitar stuff. And but so I typically like I lean into the Queensryche stuff a little more, but really like Pearl Jam though.
Hey, Russian Pearl Jam are probably the only two out of everything you said that I know.
There you go.
Janine, what about you? Same kind of music, or would you be doing something completely different?
I'd be listening to 90s country and probably the turn of the century kind of pop rock kind of stuff.
Cool. Little Backstreet Boys or something, maybe?
No, I was a little bit before that.
Wasn't that like early? That was like 90s.
It was, but they were around, but they were not my.
I had to go to a Backstreet Boys concert because my sister wanted to go, so I had to take her. I had to be the person to go and sit through that.
Now pretty iconic though. You get to say that.
Yeah, I got to go and I hated every second of it.
Yeah, I was more the Blink 182, and I liked Nirvana a little bit because they were still on the radio. But
yeah, my first concert, I was 10, about to turn 11, was Kiss at Hare Arena.
Man.
And the only reason I got to go is I had a stepbrother at the time, and they were like, if you're going, you have to take him with you. So I went, and there was probably a better show in the audience, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Being 11, I was like, what is going on?
I remember going to Cruise Fest as a kid with my sister and her boyfriend. And yeah, it was great. Being like 11 or 12 years old, like, they're just so cool. Yeah, I love the cars. Like, yeah. But, no, it's super cool. I'm glad that you guys came today and sat down with me. Got to talk a little bit about obviously how we got into the group, about what you guys do, and where we want to see this grow. You know, I think it's really neat for you guys as well, because you were so early in the group that you've got to see this growth of all this. You know, how small it started to those 3 vehicles at the Air Force Museum. To where we are now, putting on rides where there's 50, 60 attendants.
Yeah.
It's pretty awesome, and I'm excited to see where we grow from here. But yeah, thank you guys for being on and being part of the show. Thank you guys for watching. There's going to be more of these. Again, check out that mini series, The Rig. Check out some of the videos from our past rides, kind of get an idea of what we get into. But yeah, until next time, guys, let's go places.